Hey, everybody. Just wanted to hop on quick and tape a little bit, or record rather, a little bit of a video. And I wanted to wish, while we're on the subject of greetings here to WPT Nation, wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Just checking in on this Monday, November the 24th, a little more than an hour out from Keep It Easy running at Mahoning Valley. So good luck to him. I thought I'd focus, and you can see on the West Point TV homepage, we've got a number of horses officially entered between today, depending upon when you're checking this out, through the weekend, and it is closing weekend at Churchill Downs. But I thought I'd touch upon the two stakes horses that we have running on Saturday afternoon, with a Paige Turner running in the Fern Creek Stakes at Churchill Downs, and of course the always tough and consistent Pascaline, who's going to venture out of the West Virginia bred stakes ranks and is going to try some open company 3-year-old stakes horses in Maryland on Saturday at Laurel Park. But good luck to everybody from Yinzer and Legalize on Thanksgiving. Ivory and Ebony looks like she found a pretty good spot on a quick turnaround. And then, of course, our stakes horses on Saturday, and wrapping up Churchill Downs, hopefully with a win. In fact, two wins. Maiden 75 for Start to Win on Sunday, and here's the Student Regent moving forward in his second start. So without further ado, we'll hop on over to Notability, which I like to use. I like to download the daily racing form past performances. I upload them into Notability, and I have my trusty Apple Pencil here. From years ago, when I had my role both in New York and most recently down here in South Florida, working, as a host and TV analyst at Gulfstream Park. I always tried to set up discussing a race, not just who I like or what I think about the favorite, but ultimately coming up with basically a couple of like subset plot lines. So in looking at the 2-year-old fillies that are set to battle 6.5 furlongs Saturday at Churchill Downs, for me, the two biggest plot lines going into the race are the fillies coming out of the October 24th Myrtlewood Stakes at Keeneland. You've got three key horses. In fact, your trifecta fillies are coming out of that race, and we had Counting Stars in there. She did not run anywhere near to her ability, but it wound up being a solid race. So you've got the number 7 On Time Girl, the winner of the Myrtlewood, pretty deep closer at that, in the number 6, A Fine Chardonnay, and then the number 3, Woodstock, who capped the trifecta. So there's that first set of horses, and the most important horses in the race. On the other hand, you've got what I like to call the JBMs, the Just Broke Maidens. And that includes our Army Mule filly, the number 2 Paige Turner, who looked really good winning at Churchill Breeders' Cup weekend for Cherie, and the Constitution filly on the rail for Alstall Jr. in the number 1 Solemn Vow. So I think, between basically those 5 horses, the tri-fillies from the Myrtlewood and our horse and Solemn Vow, the winner, the bulk of the money is going to go to those 5 horses, and I would imagine, all 5 of those horses will run pretty well. The rest of this field, what do you have? You got a 10-horse field. The second half, you're going to have some bigger prices. Of the Myrtlewood fillies, I prefer the number 7 On Time Girl, who really did all the dirty work. She had an inside post, as you can see, post number 2. And I mean, she never had a breather, hounded every step of the way. And it was only in deep stretch when she got picked off late by A Fine Chardonnay, who closed from way out of it and got a very good ride from Tyler Gaffalione. Basically just sat on the rail, angled 5 wide, big sweep, and was up in time. I will give, although I prefer the 7 On Time Girl for a few different reasons in their rematch, I will add, it's tough winning from off the pace and consistently winning as a deeper kind of closer. And it might not be the Keeneland of, the early to mid 90s, where the inside speed pretty much won every race, but still, speed and Keeneland are synonymous, right? So I gave a couple of extra points to the 6 a fine Chardonnay for winning from off the pace, but I like the fact that the 7 on time girl has drawn outside today, where she had post 2 last time out. Today, she's got more of a comfortable post where she can just let herself fall into the race from stall number 7. And I just don't see a ton of speed in here. She's either on the lead, or we'll see how much speed we get from the rail horse, the one Solemn Vow, who looked pretty good in breaking her maiden. And it does look like Solemn Vow has caught some live fields. You know, in the italics, there's some next out winners. She was beaten 2 back by a fine Chardonnay, and she got it done last time out of Keeneland, beating our Charlatan filly, who ran really well in Feeling Groovy. So very dangerous horse in Solemn Vow, who's coming out of a relatively fast race on the buyer figures here with the 79. That is a strong figure. She's got to deal with that inside post, which I don't necessarily love, but she's dangerous, as is the number 2 Paige Turner. You know, Cherie and David all along in the team, we've liked this Army Mule filly who we bought back in March at OBS, and she ran awesome closing weekend up in Saratoga and followed it up with just a dominant win last time out at Churchill Downs. I see no reason why she doesn't take another step forward. I also, in my mind, the way Cherie trains, it's just not about that first start. It's about bringing a horse along slowly, race after race, and just that hopefully steady, almost like you're going up a staircase one step at a time. It's that kind of progression. So I've got arrows pointing up for Solemn Vow and Paige Turner. I truly feel both of those fillies will run better than they did last time out. And we'll see how they do against the other Myrtlewood, trifecta fillies. Again, of that grouping, I prefer the 7 on time girl. But good luck to our Paige Turner there Saturday at Churchill Downs. Now we move on to a pretty tough West Virginia bred in Pascaline, who I was admiring as I was going through this race. I was admiring his lifetime record, the fact that he's only been worse than third once in his 9 starts, and the fact that this is his 8th start as a 3-year-old. He's just been really, really solid. He's also, talking about subplots, he's also got a really good rivalry going with this fellow West Virginia bred, the number 2 Spot a Free One. They've had some good battles. Now, Spot a Free One's beaten us by a neck the last 2 times they met, once in July, last time out in that stake at Charlestown. But both horses, although very solid and consistent, I think are going to have to run maybe the best race they've ever had to run in their life to contend here, and that's ultimately due. And I don't think there's a morning line out yet, but it does look to my eyes that this horse, the 8 Slam Notion, is going to be favored. And just given his body of work, how this horse has come on in such a big way. I mean, they took a shot Preakness Day. He's a Maryland-based horse. They took a shot in the Chick Lang, and he was a big price. We had Keep It Easy in the race, who didn't run well, and went to the sidelines after that. But I mean, it's incredible to me looking at just how much this horse improved. Basically, what, about a 7-week, little over 7-week gap in races, or at least spacing from mid-May through mid-July. So he comes back at Colonial against 3-year-olds at a good price, wins the Start in Askra. They try him on turf at Colonial. I'm assuming the race was there and it was a 3-year-old restricted race. Let's just take a shot for 82 G's. He didn't run well on the grass, but I mean, his last couple of races, not only dominant and comfortable wins, but fast figures to boot. And he did it against older horses. Once at Colonial in the mud over a sealed track. And if you were wondering, and I'm sure that would have been my frame of mind last time out, was it the sealed track? Now he's got to, ship back home to Laurel Park. Will he be able to do it on a dry track? But he dominated. So Slam Notion is hands down the horse to beat here. You've got a dozen entered as I work my way through. It is not an insanely, insanely, insanely tough field. Again, our horse Pascaline and his arch nemesis here, Spot a Free One. I mean, both of them are going to have to step forward. But ultimately, I think they fit. I'll be curious to see how the number 6 Pay Billy does in the race. He was one of the hometown horses in the Preakness against our boy Sandman and journalism after winning both the private terms and Federico Tessio. He's coming back off a layoff. I mean, clearly, I would imagine there was at least a little bit of an issue, a minor issue with that, considering he hasn't run since the Preakness. He's got 4 published workouts, and he's coming back going 7 furlongs. He's an interesting horse just because he's got these stakes wins and, of course, a grade one try last time out. But he's coming back going 7/8, and he does strike me as the kind of horse that's probably going to be a bit better going longer. So I think Pascaline, like he always does, is going to run well. But I think that said, everybody not named Slam Notion has their work cut out for them Saturday in the City of Laurel Stakes at Laurel Park. So just going to sign off here. Again, want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Looking forward to seeing so many of you in Ocala with our December yearling showcase, which, believe it or not, is less than 2 weeks away. So, on that note, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck to all of our horses that are running over the next few days, and I'll catch you next time.